Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Bonus Bias, a very special bonus bias where I show you my face because I couldn't really think of a better way to do this. Today, I will be talking about my first impressions, my experience listening to the new album from 21 Pilots, Clancy, which if you watch my normal videos, I have been kind of talking about in previous videos, and a few people said, hey, you should do a bonus bias on that. So I thought, hey, might as well. Bonus bias is about me talking about things I'm passionate about. I'm really passionate about these songs. If you are here for the ballad song stuff, this is not even a normal upload. Just wait until tomorrow, bozo. So I'm going to do a video about Clancy because I am ridiculously passionate about this album. I love it. I've been listening to it for a few days now. I know enough of the lyrics to kind of sing along to it, but I don't know enough about the lyrics to like really dig into the meaning. So I'm not really going to talk about that too much. We'll get into it a little bit. But I wanted to do a video mainly about how I feel about them musically, since I know that digging into the lyrics and the meaning is going to change a lot of these songs for me. So let's do it. We'll start off with the singles, which I'll kind of touch on because we've been listening to them for months. Overcompensate, old but still good. I have notes here that I'm going to be reading off of, but I'll try and do this as unscripted as I can, question mark. I just think that Overcompensate is a bit weaker now because all of the other stuff is so new and it's so good that Overcompensate kind of just gets overshadowed, I guess. In the future, I think it will come back. I've really been enjoying listening to Overcompensate in the past few months. I love the intro. I love the drums. I love the vibe switch up that happens. The kind of blaring alarm in the background is really fun. I love the combination of like the singing and the rap verses. You got that bass that happens in the background. It is a fun song. Just going back and listening to it doesn't hit as hard now that we have the other new songs, but I think it was the perfect single to generate hype for this new album, especially with the music video, which I think is one of the most well-produced ones that they put out for this album cycle. Next Semester came out a few weeks later, and it's probably one of my favorite songs on the album, if not one of my favorite songs that 21 Pilots has ever released. It's the closest thing to my personal music taste with kind of the punk rock electric guitars going on, which, fun fact, there's not a single electric guitar actually in the song. The producer came out and said, oh yeah, that's just like distorted ukulele or something like that, which is crazy. Never would have guessed that if I didn't know it. But you've got the chorus, you got that looping guitar that's going on, and those like that chanting kind of chirping of the crowd in the background, especially in the intro, you know, stand up straight now, do, that kind of stuff. I really love it. You get these really, really fun kind of guitar riffs. And the theming is just, while I can't personally relate to the chorus, which gets into some really dark places, I can relate fully with the feeling of being overwhelmed by school, being overwhelmed with life, feeling like you've done bad in your past and you just really want that fresh start that can help you kind of feel better about everything. Because at the end of the day, you can't change what you've done. The only thing that you can do is move on and make a change for next time. So I thought that really, really resonated with me. But just combined with the fact that it's probably the closest thing to my music taste, like I said, that 21 Pilots has ever done. Next Semester is one of my favorite songs of theirs easily and will probably end up being my favorite on the album. But again, it's old. I've heard it a lot, so it's not as exciting as some of the new songs. We'll see how that goes. Third single, Backslide, probably going to end up being one of my least favorites on the album. I do want to make it clear, every single song on Clancy is not a skip, and it is above a 5 out of 10, easily. Like, I think, to me, all of these songs are well above average. So when I'm saying it's my least favorite on the album, I literally just mean something has to take last place. I'm not being, like, intensely negative when I say that. But Backslide, good use of background vocals. You get the kind of deeper, blurry face-esque voice. The music video, I think, which was directed by the drummer Josh, is incredibly well done. I love the lyrics that Tyler, the singer, sings about not wanting to fall back into his old problems. There's a little bit of awkwardness in some of the lyrical structure. You know, you get kind of the I used to be a champion line that feels a little bit awkward if you listen to it. And then kind of the intro to the chorus, you have strength enough for one more time. Feels like it could have used a few more words instead of hanging there. But at the end of the day, I think Backslide's pretty good. I really like the returning at the end of the repeated chorus, the I don't care if it's lonely from the beginning. Really like it. Backslide's a scrungly little vibe. I enjoy it. Now the new songs, just the names alone, because we had the names since right after Overcompensate came out. Just the names alone, I was most interested in Midwest Indigo, Routines in the Night, At the Risk of Feeling Dumb, Paladin Strait, and Snapback. The other ones I didn't really pay too much attention to, and we'll kind of get into why I'm bringing this up later. But Midwest Indigo, I thought, was going to be my favorite song because Midwest emo is a genre that I really enjoy listening to. You get those fun kind of guitar lines, those lyrics that are kind of sad, and I don't like living in the Midwest kind of vibe. I thought there was a chance maybe they'd go for a Midwest emo style song since they're not really limited to one specific genre that they do. I know that's a little bit of an out there guess, but that's not where they ended up going. The intro synth was definitely not what I was expecting, but I've grown to really like it. And then when that first chorus kicks in, I was just rocking out. When I was first listening to this, I decided not to watch the live stream that they were doing that was premiering all the music videos. I decided to just lay on my bed with some earphones and just listen to it. And I'm really happy that I did that. I turned off my phone, turned off all distractions. Well, I didn't turn off my phone, turned off notifications. You get it. And it was really, really, really good. So the intro was not what I was expecting, but then that first verse came in, I was rocking out. And the album all around had plenty of moments that I was sitting there like, ooh, I love that. That is so good. That's so interesting. I can't wait to listen to that again. So yeah, beginning of the first verse, Midwest Indigo, sick. I love the lyric specifically about scraping frost off a frosted windshield and kind of driving while you're peeping through that tiny little slit that you created for yourself while the rest of it thaws out. I may not be from the Midwest, but being from New York, I can certainly picture all the days before school that I had to deal with that. Josh's drums here really stand out. I think that's a theme overall on the album. There's a background piano in the second verse. It adds a lot, and then it kind of all comes together in the 2-minute mark with you get the piano and the synths, and they add a little bit of guitar. Really fun. And the first time I listened to it, it felt like nostalgic in a way. I felt like, I've heard this before, but I'm not sure why. So I like Midwest Indigo, one of my favorites that's kind of been rotating around. I have a lot of like songs that I'm going to say one of my favorites because every single day that I've woken up, I have thought, oh no, this one's my favorite. Oh no, this one's my favorite. And they've been rotating. So I'm going to say a lot of them are my favorites. Routines in the Night is the next one that we're looking at. This one, probably one of my favorite choruses, like genuinely. I know I just said I'll say there are a lot of my favorites, but the chorus of Routines is so fun to sing. It flows so well, and it really took me by surprise because I'm not usually into songs like this. I usually prefer a little more instrumentation, a little more maybe guitar or something like that, but damn did it go hard. You get that pre-chorus about like painful reminders and terrible dreams that you can sing, and it leads into the chorus in such an interesting way. The theme of walking around your mind as if it was some sort of house with rooms that are blocked off. Really, really solid. Verse 2 especially took me by surprise. I'm in love with the way that it flows, specifically when he's like keeps coming around, and it just, the way that he says it and the way that it's presented, I really, really like the second verse. It's one of my favorites on the record. Like I said, it's been rotating in and out, and it's the first song that I actually learned the lyrics to the chorus because it's just so much fun to sing along to. Vignette will probably be my biggest surprise on the album. Looking at the names, Vignette, couldn't really get a vibe from that, so I didn't have too many expectations of it. But man, I had no idea I would like this song so much. You get that intro with kind of the sweeping like violin sounding. I don't actually know if it's a violin, but that's kind of what the vibe that it gives. And then they come in with those 4 notes, the duh, 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 that you just want to drum along to it, and it makes you just rock your head, and I love it. But then they transition to like this like scrungly like synth. Again, I'm not sure what instrument it is. I think it's a lower synth, but that kind of takes over the first verse, and I love it. The do 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 do. So good. And then they throw in a random bird noise, which surprisingly is not the last time that we're going to hear that. It's just a song that I really like the flow of. And then you get to the chorus, and nothing could have prepared me for how powerful he sang it. You get those pounding 4 notes that come back in, and it has one of the most powerful choruses. You just want to just belt it alongside Tyler. I was absolutely vibing to Vignette on the first listen, and it was definitely my standout on the album. Besides maybe one other song that we'll get into later, it's so good. That was probably my favorite. Oh my, I keep saying it. I know there's so many songs on this album that I'm like, I this is my favorite. But then I listened to another one. I'm like, no, this is my favorite. Anyway, The Craving. I don't really have too much to say about this one because it's a beautiful ukulele song dedicated to his wife. He puts a love song on each of the albums, and I think that's beautiful. Not much more to say to it than that. Even though I can't really relate to the themes, it's one of the most emotional songs on the album. It does get me. And while I'd prefer to put the alternative single version on for like a ride in the car, I definitely think it was the right choice to use this version on the album. This is one of the versions that he sang at one of the live shows. And then when they released the single version, I remember saying, I kind of miss like him just standing there with a ukulele. So it was nice to see that it was still present in the album in some way. Just a very beautiful song. Between two people who obviously really, really care about each other, and it's very sweet. Lavish is probably one of my least favorites on the album. Like, it was the one on my first listen that I was like, I don't really know if I vibed with that one. There's something about the chorus vocals that I don't really like. I think it's like the airiness, the high-pitched nature of them. There's not really a main voice to latch on to, but I do like the beat. I really do like the background beat, and I do like some of the verses. It's been growing on me, and I think one reason for that is that the music video is really, really fun. It was a really interesting music video. They put a lot of work into it. I really liked the vibe that they went with for the music video, and I think that did slowly kind of turn it around for me. While I don't think Lavish will be anywhere near the top of my list, I kind of think it won't stay at the bottom forever. It's kind of like Mulberry Street on Scaled and Icy. By far my least favorite the first time I listened to it, and now it's kind of up there. So Lavish, yeah, pretty good. I will say there's one lyric that the internet's kind of been focusing on. You probably know what I'm talking about. It seems very forward for 21 Pilots. It's a little strange, but you know, they gotta change it up sometimes, I guess. Oh boy, it's time for Navigating. This is the other song I was talking about earlier. This song hit me out of fucking nowhere. Holy cow. I was rocking out listening to this for the first time. I had forgotten it was even on the record. I always just skimmed over the name because, again, Navigating. I can't really get a vibe of like kind of what the song might even possibly be about just looking at it. So I had forgotten it was there. Oh my gosh, nothing could have prepared me for how hard this song went. I love everything about it. I can't even listen to a single second of it without like just needing to go back and listen to the full thing again. It's so fire. The bass line's fire, the guitar's fire, the drums are fire, the whole song's fire. You can belt out the chorus, specifically the part about give me some advice. Verse 2 is really short. It's like 2 lines, but honestly, I don't even care. Get me right back into that kick-ass chorus, please and thank you. And then you get the final version of the chorus, which is just like light cymbal hits with this insane bass line. Then it builds back up to the normal chorus, and they go so hard. Oh, it's so good. And Tyler, the singer, said it was one of his least favorites on the album. I can't even comprehend how someone could be like, yeah, it's probably my least favorite on the album, and create something that goes so hard. Navigating might end up being like an all-time 21 Pilots song for me, genuinely. And for my fun fact heads out there, listen to the end of Navigating and then go back and listen to the beginning of the Next Semester music video. You're welcome. Snapback. This is one of the songs that I was really interested in. Snapback kind of sounds like it's going to be a really snappy, pardon the pun, song about like getting back at someone who hurt you, or maybe returning after like a We Are So Back vibe after an It's So Over period of your life. I definitely thought it would have been, again, a bit snappier because it's a bit more somber than I thought it was going to be, but it's a fun song. There's good flow. The beat is like this Mario underwater level kind of thing. I really like it. Josh is really standing out on the drums again on this one. I really liked him on the drums here. I think the one thing I'm really not crazy on is the refrain. Even though it's a callback to Backslide, it just kind of feels out of place. Like when he first started singing it in my first listen, I was like, that doesn't really seem like it fits in this song. Lyrically, I'm sure it fits in the song, and this is one of the songs that is probably going to go up my list when I actually take a look at the lyrics and kind of dig into the meaning of it. But as of right now, not the craziest about it. I think it's like just solidly in the middle for the album for me. But I will say the ending of the final chorus has a more prominent guitar part that I really like. And I really enjoy the outro of the song where he talks about his elasticity and how he wants it to go back to how it was before. I do think this is one of the songs that I will appreciate a lot more when I kind of dig more into the meaning and the lyrics of it. Next up is Oldies Station, one that I just straight up wasn't excited for based on the name. I don't know why. For some reason, I was thinking like space station, like a space station called Oldies Station. I never even thought about like a radio station, but this song has been growing on me a lot. There's something about the chorus that just really gets to me, you know, with the darkness line combined with the piano, and then you have that kind of like pittering instrumental in the background. I love the theme of like pushing on through. It's just a very sweet song. Really all comes together for me in the bridge, which I just adore. He talks about, you know, red lights taking longer and you not minding it as much as you used to. He sneaks in a lyric about him being at his daughter's first dance recital, which is really sweet. It's all the instruments come in and it just completes the song so well. This is another one that keeps kind of rotating in as my favorite, specifically the bridge part and just kind of the repetition of pushing on through. And it's such a sweet song. And the music video here is another one that I really, really like. So Oldie Station pleasantly surprised me. At the risk of feeling dumb, I think I was the most excited for this one just because I had heard some whispers because there was a listening party that happened a week before the album came out. The one thing that I read was that someone really liked At the Risk of Feeling Dumb because of a guitar. But then the song starts and it's like this really weird like do 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 do, and I wasn't sure where they were going with it. I remember thinking like, this is not really what I was expecting. I've definitely warmed up to that little beat now, but on first listen, it was definitely like I don't know if I like where this is going. But towards the end of the first chorus, you get this guitar in your right ear. It's so, there's something about it. I perked up immediately upon hearing it. I was like, I love that guitar. Because there is something about it that I really, really like, and I can't really put my finger on what it is. And that guitar will continue to pop up in your right ear every once in a while, and I love every second of it. That funky beat kind of starts to fit in with the rest of the instrumentation, and then the whole song finally comes together in the first post-chorus. You get hit full force with all the instruments. That guitar finally surrounds you. It's so good, and especially kind of my preliminary idea of what the song is about. It's a really sweet song about checking in on your friends, making sure they're okay. You get that post-chorus that Tyler's just belting out and you want to belt out with him. It's so good. And then the full instrumentation sticks around for the final chorus. This is another one that I'm like, yep, that's my favorite. I feel like that kid who eats the cookies and goes, that's my favorite. No, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's just me listening to this album. And finally, Paladin Strait. Oh, what can I even say about Paladin Strait? What can I not say about Paladin Strait? I think Paladin Strait will end up being my long-term favorite, the thing that overtakes Next Semester for me, just because of everything that it represents and everything that it is. We start off with some really fun guitar, ukulele. I'm not really sure which. I'm assuming because it's Tyler, it's a ukulele. But they back Tyler's vocals. It's a very simple start. But then you get this really sick, like deeper vocals, the Making My Way Towards You line. Again, perked right up hearing it. I was like, ooh, I love that. And it continues and it's amazing. The chorus of the song is also just beautiful to me because you kind of get like a double entendre effect where obviously it's about the lore. If you don't know, 21 Pilots has been telling a cohesive-ish story through some of their music videos. And I'm someone who really loves digging into lore about like a video game or maybe a band or whatever. So I have loved following along with this story for the few years that I've been into 21 Pilots. The chorus is very obviously lore related, talking about swimming through this body of water in the world that they've created, seeing someone on the other shore that they're swimming towards. And you could take that as the main character swimming towards the antagonist of the story because this is supposed to be like the final chapter. You could take that as him swimming towards his rebel group that he's fighting with. You could take it as any of that, or the way that I've chosen to interpret it, which, you know, may be wrong, but kind of makes the song a little more beautiful for me. You could kind of take it in more of like a love songy way where, you know, one is propelled to fight through their demons, fight their battles, swim their Paladin Strait to get to the other side, get to the one that they love. I think that's a really sweet way to take it, and I've really enjoyed kind of that double meaning effect that's kind of been going on for me. Verse 2, we get Josh's drums introduced to the mix, and it just adds so much more to the song. The deep vocals hit harder, the chorus hits harder, and then the bridge comes up, or as I like to call it, the second chorus, because it's like the second kind of repeating thing in the song where he talks about being past the point of no return. And this is the part that I just love singing along to in the car. It is so, so, so good. There's so much emotion in it. And again, it's obviously lore related, but someone could easily form their own interpretation of it, their own meaning to it, apply it to their own life. I've done that. I'm not personally going to share what that is, but I've done it. It works. I really like it. I think Paladin Strait is so sick. Until the 4:30 mark. We knew that this was going to be a 6.5-minute song for a really long time. That was not a surprise to us. And I was really excited for that. I'm so pissed that one of those 6 minutes is just ambient bird noises. And I know it's going to make sense when they release the music video later. I know I'm probably going to look back on it and go, oh my gosh, that was so smart. But I really love, I would really love, I should say, a version of this song that just ends on the final chorus so that I don't have to listen to a minute of bird calls when I'm driving in the car and I can't skip. And then you have the last minute, which is very, very obviously lore related because you get direct name drops of people, groups, places within the lore that they've made. And it ends on one of the most shocking few final seconds to an album that I've ever had, especially since the birds kind of built up tension. Like I was starting to really feel on edge. Like I really want to hear the rest of this song. I hope there's enough left in the song for them to do something really cool. But then you get kind of that ending, and I'm not going to spoil it, but if you know, you know. I sat up immediately. I looked at my phone. I saw the album was over, and I was like, that's where it ends? Are you kidding me? But the thing about Paladin for me is that some of the things were so intensely disappointing for me, like the fact that it does have a minute of essentially silence in it, and yet it's still one of my favorites on the album. And I think that's why it's going to end up being my favorite on the album, just straight up. Solid, solid song. And it proves yet again that 21 Pilots just know how to close out a fucking album, dude. You've got Leave the City on Trench. You've got Redecorate on Scaled and Icy, which is one of my favorite songs of theirs ever. And now you have Paladin Strait on this. I think you had Goner on Blurry Face. They know how to wrap up an album, dude. It just, they never miss. I'm excited for the eventual music video, even though it was a little bit sad, some of the things in there. Paladin, bravo, love it. And overall, Clancy is a banger. And that's why I'm making this video, because I don't think people are going to agree. So I just wanted a video that you could watch to nerd out about the songs like I've been doing. I've been showing it to all of my friends. They've all really enjoyed it. In fact, a few nights ago, we stayed up until a very late hour just watching some of the music videos and kind of introducing another friend to it. I don't think this is something that's probably going to change as the songs settle in and I get used to them. I don't think it hits the highs of Trench for me, which is one of their previous albums. I don't think it hits that high, but it definitely overtakes Scaled and Icy as my second favorite album of theirs. And yes, Scaled and Icy was that high. And no, I won't apologize for it. I never will. Josh on the drums was a huge bright spot for me. I think they really highlighted him more than they really have in the past, which is saying something because he's had some very good parts on previous songs, and just the overall more like rocky upbeat tone just did my heart well. It was a joy to listen to, and it's been a joy to listen to since then. The fact that I can't even choose a favorite at the moment just tells me that I will be listening to these songs for a long, long time. So thank you so much for watching my incredibly long-winded nerd out session about a new song from a band that most of you probably don't even care about. But welcome to Bonus Bias, because this is just what I do. I make videos about what I'm passionate about. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.